Hi everyone, I'm counsellor Bhavina from NAMS. I will be talking about relapse after recovery in this video and sharing some ways to respond to relapse positively. A relapse happens when a person with a past history of addiction return to their previous pattern of addictive behavior after a period of abstinence or planned reduced use. Some triggers of a relapse include stress, people or places connected to the addictive behavior, negative or challenging emotions, seeing or sensing the object of addiction, and times of celebration. Many people who struggle with their addiction turn to their substance use or activity of choice as a way of coping with stress. Research has shown that there is an increased wanting for drug, alcohol, or addictive activity during stressful situations, especially when the person's primary coping mechanism was substance use or activity of choice. People who participated in one's addictive behavior are potential triggers for a relapse, regardless of whether or not they are still drinking, smoking, or using drugs. Likewise, certain places that remind one of their addiction can be a trigger. When one is reminded of their addiction, it's important to have effective ways of handling the feelings. For example, for some who has been having an addiction to alcohol, having a group of drinking buddies ask them to go out or seeing people from work going for happy hour might be a trigger. It might help to have a specific response ready to avoid participating in such events that might potentially lead to a relapse. Having healthy activities that one can turn to instead, like going for a run, watching a movie, having dinner with a sponsor, or reading a good book will be helpful. People who struggle with addiction need effective ways of coping, managing, and making sense of the negative feelings faced in daily life. Alcohol, drugs, or addictive behaviors are often used to provide temporary relief from those feelings. It would be helpful to learn how to get comfortable with uncomfortable feelings and emotions. Feeling negative or challenging emotions is normal. Learning how to face these emotions without escaping into addiction is the key. Finding healthy ways to release negativity and boost one's mood could be a place to start. Embrace the idea that you're creating a new, healthier version of yourself with no room for the things of the past. Positive situations such as birthdays and holidays can be triggers too. One may feel happy, in control, and confident in handling one drink or one puff. But can you really keep it under control? People who struggle with addiction frequently lose their capacity to know when to stop. Therefore, that one drink or puff could turn into a relapse. Having a buddy can help in situations where you are at risk of relapse. Find someone you trust and respect to kindly but firmly persuade you to stop what you're doing if you do start to relapse. Avoid going into situations alone where you are at high risk of relapse. You might be surprised how quickly your resolve and good intentions disappear once the party started. If you go into the situation unprepared, you're more likely to relapse. Learning to recognize triggers, getting help from a counselor, and building a support network are all useful tools in preventing a relapse. Do everything you can to protect yourself, but don't beat yourself up if you do slip. Remember, relapse is not a sign that your recovery failed. You're navigating a new and unfamiliar path. So, with continued therapy and support, you should be able to build stronger defenses against common triggers. Although relapse is a common feature of addiction, people who relapse often see it as a failure. There is the danger that they might give up and feel that quitting is too difficult. It is important to understand relapse as a part of the recovery process. If you are in treatment for addiction, it is important to know that relapse and recovery can occur together as part of an ongoing journey. when a relapse occurs, here are some things that can be done to respond to relapse positively. Reaching out for help could be a start. Seeking support from family, friends, and other people can help cope with your relapse. Thinking through on what led to the relapse is an important step in avoiding it from happening again. Attending support groups, avoiding triggers, setting healthy boundaries, engaging in self-care, reflecting on the relapse, and developing a relapse prevention plan with a counsellor can be helpful and are positive ways to respond to a relapse. Remember, if you are trying to quit, you should plan for and try to avoid relapse. But if you do relapse, you should accept that it is a normal part of quitting and learn from the experience.